when people say mentorship from afar, I think I'm the best definition because there was nobody on radio, majorly for Pidgin and English, between 2007 and 2018 that did not mentor me. I'm the dark humor myself. So if you ever feel like you want to call me out for being a visually impaired person, guess what? I'm going to call you out. I will be the one roasting you. You talk about adverts. You go say, I love love.
I love love. Love it.
You're in the spirit.
I love love. That will be our teaser.
Exactly.
I love love.
This is the first, I think the first podcast in a while that I'm coming on, that I'm actually having fun discussing other topics that are not mainly disability bound per se.
Hello and welcome to the Good News Naija Podcast. My name is Desmond Ebuekunwe. All right, so my aphasia activated. Today we're delving into the inspiring journey of the global emperor, Abednego Noris, a remarkable individual who has defied the odds to become a successful podcaster and what? Activist. Despite losing his sight 3 months after birth due to a cataract attachment, Abednego has not let his visual impairment define him. Instead, he has used his platform to advocate for accessibility and empowerment for the visually impaired and deaf communities in Africa and every person he meets. I really hope to learn a thing or two from this conversation. This episode aims to offer listeners valuable insights into his early life, family, career, and the broader potential of podcasting and music as tools for empowerment and development. You'd enjoy this podcast. The question I want to now ask is, you did speak about your family and your upbringing and them allowing you to fully be and express and grow. So, but what was that like? Growing up, was there, because for every teenager trying to move on with life and grow up from being a child to a teenage phase to becoming an adult, were there any points that you felt any form of resentment, anger, difference, or how did you manage all of these feelings through these different stages in life? Because even as at different points in my personal life, there were times I was like, oh, we did not have as much monies, I'm not attending or doing certain things. Yes. And then you have all those minor privilege, resentment or conversations with your parents.
Yes.
But did you have any of those?
Oh, yes, that's actually normal. Remember, it's going to be shocking first, even from your parents. It's going to be shocking that, oh, so we have a child who is visually impaired. How do we move into accepting this as our reality? Even for me as the person with disability, do you know how many years I used to wake up every day? I'll tell people, oh, I have faith I'm going to see one day. So any program you invited me to that they say, oh, we are healing today, don't worry, I'm going to be there. As long as I was less busy or there was nothing to do. After all I did was go to school, come back, eat good food, eat biscuits, and be happy. So I was going to show up. Do you understand? So you're going to feel things like that. There are days where your people feel like, oh, you're becoming a problem because you're not allowing them to enjoy their meal, you are disturbing and things like that. Sometimes too, I feel cheated. I feel like, oh, why are you not letting me have this? Why are you not letting me do this? Why are you not letting me do that? But I feel like as I got older, even before I became a teenager, it began to get better. I started to relate with my elder brother better. And he ensured that, okay, what do you want to do? What can I support you with career-wise? And so when I said, okay, we're going to do music, he supported me. When I said, oh, I wanted to switch into something else, he made sure that he was there. My eldest brother too, at some point began to realize that, okay, this person needs more love. He needs more love, not the way that we treat him once in a while, because it's not something that occurs regularly. It's just once in a while thing. You know, when you get triggered that, oh, I have this person and I wish he could do so many stuff by himself. Mm-hmm. The anger, sometimes you're scared to even visit because you're like, oh, what am I going to say to this person? I'm going to see this guy again who can't see. And I don't have the perfect words to say. It's normal. For my sisters, you would feel that resentment too sometimes. And then on some days, it's like, okay, you know what? We die here. There's a reason we're family. There's a reason why it is us. So we've gotten to that point over the years where it's just beautiful. They've been teaching me. My elder brother got into production. Maybe one for himself and then two because he says he wanted to learn because of me. Why? Because he wanted to make the type of sounds that I was going to enjoy. My sisters ensured that, okay, no matter what, we're going to play our roles effectively. My mom, my dad, and the love has been epic. I mean, imagine your father buying you 7 radio. Like he gets you 7 radio sets. Because why? He believes that you love the radio so much. So rather than just listening to it only when he's driving to work and dropping you by at school, he buys you this. Your radio can't spoil because as it's getting spoiled, you're getting another delivered to you. Like, okay, who's this man? At some point, I heard a very crazy rumor. They said, are you sure they are not using the radio to do this, boy? How would somebody have 7 radio sets? But guess what? That was part of what nurtured me and molded me into what I love, I have become, and I'm still very much becoming when it comes to the broadcasting space. Imagine the joy when you're listening to some of the finest people. When people say mentorship from afar, I think I'm the best definition because there was nobody on radio, majorly for Pidgin and English, between 2007 and 2018 that did not mentor me from afar. Obviously, I couldn't have paid them, but the fact that I listened to them, Nedu taught me how to read the news for one. Daddy Freeze and Dotun taught me how to do voiceovers without knowing. Then later on, Lord Frank taught me without knowing as well. Yo taught me how to present in Pidgin. Marsha taught me different people. Oscar Oyinso, Dan Foster for English, Titi Oyinso and the likes. They ensured that, okay, you're going to learn this thing. So my dad was actually grooming me without knowing. And so when it got to the stage where I'm saying, okay, I'm doing radio now, he's like, oh, how can I listen to you? He's not saying, oh, those dreams are not valid. My mom is saying, how can I listen? My family members are saying, how can we be a part of the show? Can we call in? Can we do this one? Oh, you did great yesterday. Once one share, they shank me because they feel like a prophet is not in his own home. So we have seen you finish. That kind of thing.
Which means we definitely share like something together because I think around up till 2022, I used to be very obsessed with the radio. Like, I would listen to every show on the radio in Benin City, in Lagos, in the UK, everywhere, because I wanted to become a good radio presenter. Yeah. And I ended up being one of them. So I understand, I can totally connect with how listening to the radio can genuinely mentor you. But receiving all this love from home and now engaging with society on a daily, now as an adult, what have you learned about people?
The greatest thing I've learned about people is, permit me to say that if they give you bass, make sure you give them boss.
What do you mean?
10 years ago, I was riding my tire as a young kid. And then I mistakenly hit this man. Then he goes, you know, they see how you go hit me. And I say, sorry, no vex. 4 years before that, people will say to you, you this blind boy, I'll begin to cry. Oh my God. My people will go and fight. Guess what? I'm the dark humor myself. So if you ever feel like you want to call me out for being a visually impaired person, guess what? I'm going to call you out. I will be the one roasting you. Because now it's nothing to me again. I'm at that stage where it's no longer a big deal for me. Make sure that you can counter sweetness with sweetness, kindness with kindness, and make sure you counter madness with double madness. That way it does not come your way. I'm not countering it because you are going to now say, oh, why is a person like this insulting? No, it's me that is insulting you. It's Abednego that is insulting you, that is coming at you. It's not a visually impaired person that is coming at you. Maybe 14, 15 years ago, that would have been the case. I would cry like a crybaby. But you see now, no, when you give me bass, I'll give you both 100. If you bring peace, I'll bring peace. If you bring, because we need it for balance. If you are always calm, collected and things like that, I've noticed that you'll be taken for granted. I've seen it happen. Leadership always finds its way to me. And how have I been able to sustain it? It is because of I'm not staying calm. I'm not staying very quiet. I'm making sure that my voice is heard. I'm making sure that you cannot silence me. I'm the guy. I'm saying it again and again. I remain the guy because I want you to be able to know that, yes, this is me who came for you. I think the other day, someone said, she was talking. She said, oh, I hope you guys are not going to complain as someone is side shaming. That's the first time I was hearing that one. See, as someone is side shaming Abednego because of what he's actually doing too. And I was laughing because at some point I was helping the person to insult me by myself. Anna, okay, you want to tell me, look at you, see your eye, see RCB. And why are you telling me what I've already said earlier? It's like cracking one same joke twice now. Say another thing that is sweet, and then we can head from there. It's true now. You want to, and if you see, I made sure my guys, they do dark humor for a living. That was how, at a particular time, there was a day we were around. I think it was myself, D Crown, Tessino, and the likes. And so we're heading to class. And then this guy, Malik, is showing everyone a picture. He gets to me and he says, Abednego, see the picture. And then, oh, sorry, I don't forget, say, they see. And that to me was like, okay, should we shoot a skit right now? Because that's inspiration coming. It's not for me to say, why you go tell me that kind of thing? Nope. We're at that point already. So that's the definition of me being able to carry myself now and not saying, oh, I'm hiding under someone's shadow to say, I feel bad about what you did to me. I'm now going to cry. No, I feel like if we finish playing the match, make it PS7. It's you that will cry and go home. I'll beat you 10-1. That one is so that they'll not say I not pity you.
Oh, I love it.
I promise I'm a nice person.
I know. I can tell. So, the next, what I also want to know is, yes, I love that you have like a really beautiful community of friends. Mm-hmm. Like people that you're very excited.
I have people too that drag me. Hey.
Of course, like.
Hey.
But then you have a good community of friends who you bounce jokes off.
Yes.
Which is why I've always thought of community as important.
Yes. Yes.
It's important to have great community.
Yes.
But for you, is there a need to find community in people who also have disability and to connect with them, or that? What do you think about that?
The other day, I was at an event.
Is it Ruchi's event?
Yes, there was that.
Okay.
I was actually at that, and it was an event for persons with disabilities. Why was I there? It's because I believe in the community. I'm a member of my school's association for visually impaired persons. So which means I connect with them. Mm-hmm. I was social secretary for a year because why? They saw my delivery. They saw what I've done before. I mean, I went to a school for the blind, Pacelli School for the Blind for primary. So which means I related with them. I've known some of my friends that are visually impaired that we met again in Unilag for 16 years. I've known some for 14 years, 15 years. So we also build community around persons with disabilities too. It's just that the reason why, as much as I'm big on that, because I also hosted a show recently, apart from Ruchi's, where blind persons came out to party. And so I went to be the hype man for the day. You could see them having fun, enjoying themselves. They were spraying money on them. They sprayed me plenty to 200. That finish. You know, you could see them having fun. That community is where I love to belong because why? They're also amazing people. Mm-hmm. But the reason why you may not find me 100% in those communities is because I like to call myself an open-minded person with disability. Mm. Because if I'm not open-minded, I don't think you would start dark humor. If you start dark humor, the day might be darker. But because I'm an open-minded person with disability, when you start it, if you sing the chorus, I'll help you sing verse 1 and verse 2. So I like to balance it. I find love in the community of persons with disabilities. And I also find love in the community of persons that are supposedly without disability, because if you are broke, that's disability. If you are single, you know, I have fine babe, they have leave you tired. It's disability. So all of us are disabled, but disability pass. There's disability pro max and disability regular. Then there's table for 10. You get? So it's that type of thing. I try to balance it. I try, but I feel like, again, if I stay in that world so much, because we have a lot of work to do on ourselves, even as persons with disabilities, I want to go out there so that I can come and show you new stuff, tell you new stuff that you can be a part of. Are they trying now?
I love it. So tell me about your presenting style. I know you also run podcast.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Okay, so my presenting style, I present in both English and Pidgin.
Together.
Any of them. I do both of them. If the need comes, if push comes to shove, let me speak big English. So people not think that they wasted my school fees. If push comes to shove, I do both. There are sometimes where I switch both of them. I'll do English one side, I'll do Pidgin on the other hand. And my presenting journey began. I mean, I've been a radio buff. If there's a word like that, a radio listener, a radio freak since 2007. But it was 2018, I decided, okay, let's start going for auditions. And I did the first one for one TV station like that. And then something. I did not go back. The next day, I went for Next Radio Superstar, organized by IFM at the time. And so the first time some persons heard me present, they were like, are you sure this guy did not scale through because he's a person with disability? Are you sure that that's not the reason he scaled through? And I'm like, okay, you know what? They called me for the auditions again the next week. Guess what? I went to play with my friends at Model College, the visually impaired friends I had there at the time. I went to play with them. So guess what? I didn't take Video Square's call. I left that call hanging. And I told them, you know what? I'll see you on the next stage. Even though I didn't know if I was going to make it. And then I see the name. I made top 100. Remember, we're like 406. So 306 dropped. I made it alive. Top 100. It's like, okay, it's going. Then we were dropped down to top 50. It's like, okay, this is going. And then it became top 15. And then I came third out of 406. And so the next thing that would happen, husband material, Chukwudi Ezugo calls me and says, oh, you should meet my guy, Collins Teke. I meet Collins. Collins says, you know what? You just won a rap battle on my show, but I think you're great. So you should come on my show as an in-house guest co-host. So I did that for a while. COVID came. Do you know I started podcast because they served me breakfast?
I love it. You're not going to university.
No, it's because the girl, it's not even that. Will I say she served me breakfast? Because what happened is that she said for me to know my fate, whether she will agree or not, that I had to wait for 2 years. So, when they look me like that, now stop. Look your camera. So, I had spent like a year waiting already. I don't know what I'm talk this side though. Anyway, I will talk. So I now went to be honest that until while I am waiting for you, I went to a hair. So she said that I cheated on her. But we're not dating now. So she now left. I now met another person that is a namesake again. If I mention that one's name now, she might come and beat me later. But both of them are favors. You will know yourself which of you did what. So I met that one. I had feelings for the lady at the time. Instead of her to reciprocate my feelings, she come, they advised me to start podcast.
Are you?
To the mother cast. So
are you going to start?
I start podcast, so I record 6 episodes. I can't find out. Say she go come, they tell me, say, Abednego, I listened to your podcast. It was good today. Say you that is the real problem of this podcast. Yeah, encouraging who? Or encouraging what?
Was she ever on this podcast?
No. Then it was called the Random Room Podcast, meaning that I could talk about anything.
Oh, just you.
It was just me. And then I used to I brought a couple of guests at the time, my friends from radio. They came in, they said, okay, we're going to do it. We had good topics, so all the topics were inspired by Hasha or Confess. Because it was relationship all through. Top 10 things to look out for. How can I look out for what I did not see in the first place? You don't know that's part of why I started podcast. So I took a break. And if they love this, God will bless both of you wherever you are. You're my stepping stone. But he paid me small, So no, he paid me very well that time. So at the end of the day, we moved to doing. I did priority radio and online radio for about 6 months. Then my contract expired. And not renew. I went under the radar. It now felt like I was hiding. So anytime they are playing that Vector song, I was never hiding. I was hinting about it, even though I had a KAS. I think they're talking to me. So I gave it some time, and then my guy calls me out of the blue and say, hey, I might just started my show on Unilag FM. Are you going to come through? So this was me starting Unilag FM before I even entered the school itself. So DJ C Fresh, who is an amazing blind DJ, actually made me start the show. And so from then, we are here now. And the new podcast is starting very, very soon. This one, it will not be because of breakfast, I promise.
It'll be because of...
It will be because I found love, the person figures out me breakfast again. So it will be because I want to hear your story. Okay, I lied. It will be because I don't know why. Let the time come.
So, but have you figured out the themes that you speak on the podcast?
Yes. I'm going to speak on love.
You like love. Hi.
You cannot say I like love.
You love love.
I love love. You go talk about advert. You go say, I love love.
I love love. Love it.
You're in the spirit.
I love love. That will be our teaser.
Exactly.
I love love.
I love love. So you go do that one. We'll do finances. We're also going to talk about school experiences. I mean, I don't think there's a podcast dedicated to discussing university stuff and things like that. So it's something I want to share. Shout out to Onokpemipo, by the way, OPP. That's another amazing friend. If I call her my sister now. Anyway, the first time I met her, I wanted to toast her, but she changed my mind in 5 minutes. So now she's my sister. OPP, I love you. She's going to be my co-host on the futuristic podcast that's coming.
Friend zone.
Why are you like this now?
I love it now. I'm just saying, you're already in the friend zone and you're basking in it.
It's in 5 minutes. I told them men and women can never be just friends. Forget. But if I say she's not, if I just call her my colleague now, she will go let me enter gutter for school. So, OPP, I love you. You know. So I'm about that. And one prayer I pray every day is, Lord, I hope I can be that guy that helps other people shine in my space. I mean, when Richie wanted to do his event, I called people from my class that I know that were capable. I called The Crown up. I called Ayo Ife. I said, you guys are amazing. You will make perfect red carpet hosts. I think I have a confession now, Richie. Now, she'll be the first red carpet show where they go host. And I told them, don't mention it. They didn't
do badly.
No, they did amazingly well. They did amazingly well that they are going to be back next year again.
Yeah, that's what matters.
Exactly. So they did well. I knew there's a guy called Blazing Glory in my class, an amazing photographer. And every time every time I look at him now, you think I'm playing, but every time I look at him, yes, I said look at, don't look at me that way. So every time I look at him, I'm like, you're a great photographer. He took my matriculation pictures and I was like, bro, I hope you return back again for whatever I'm doing next. Tosino is making amazing graphics. So my job is to say, okay, as much as I want to do this thing, how do I make sure that I'm with people that understand the movement? So we shall talk a lot of finances, a bit of disability, and I'm hoping that I get the best sound bites when people want to get dragged. Sure. I didn't say that. Did I?
Okay. I also want to know about because now you mentioned, I liked that you said a prayer just a few seconds ago, but then I just want to know how you developed your relationship with God from somebody who would be invited to a lot of programs and be promised to be healed, to now somebody who just has a relationship with God. How's that relationship evolved?
Okay, so I don't even know how you found out this part, but the first thing I did to ensure my relationship with God was beautiful is I stopped going to church. Yes, I did. Because for every time, I don't know if you know.
Do not forsake the...
yes, but wherever, me and you as we did it like this, not be two people. Wherever 2 or 3 are gathered. Of the brethren. Do not forsake the gathering of the brethren. We are here like this.
That too.
Two like this. The other people where they behind the scene, we don't reach like 5, 6. We feel even start church. Why did I stop going to church? There's a line I like from Lady Post song where it says there's something like every pastor that I meet just wants to give me a handshake. In my case, every pastor that I was meeting at the time just wanted to use me for experiments. Who would finally heal this person? Do you get? So I'm walking into church, and instead of you to welcome me and say, this guy, welcome to service. Your target is pastor wants to see you after church. You never even let service finish. Calm down now. Let me drink water first. You're already telling me pastor wants to see me. For what? And then I get to the office. So here's what I started to do. You cannot come. They would pray for other things. I'll say amen. Then when they say, I pray for your sight, either keep quiet or I say yes. Because you don't know the agreement that I have with my maker.
Mm.
Do you understand? For all you care, what if I signed a deal that states that it's when I get married that I want to receive my sight? You never can tell. Another thing that was happening constantly in church was, when I get to church, I feel like eyes are piercing through me. It's a case of maybe they are doing, bele. So if you just maybe hit your leg on a chair or something, guess who gets the blame? The person holding you. Hey, you know who and where you... No, now. You're embarrassing this person to some extent. You don't know if it's even their first time doing it. Do you get? So you're making it uncomfortable. When I think about things like that, I'm like, you know what? I don't think there's a point trying to do this. Plus, some of the doctrines of the church, I've argued over time, and I've continuously argued that I don't agree with some of the things. Do you get? Because how do you tell me, for instance, that you're praying to pass your exam? Have you read? What happens is you get to read, and then you say, Dear Lord, for the things I have read, help me top it up by ensuring that I have a retentive memory. Now, that makes sense. You cannot say you did not read and then suddenly you want to pass and you're saying, God help. No. Things like that, I don't believe in. You are saying, for instance, time about maybe you paid money for someone to bring you something. And then only yourself, you throw yourself a party and act surprised and then shout, it's Grace, oh, Grace. Ooh, is that one of the invitees? Don't do that. You make it feel like God's place is not so beautiful. Meanwhile, it's actually priceless. It's actually a place that everyone should be in, whether as a gathering of the brethren or maybe in twos and threes. God's place is where, you should stay, have so much fun and be like, I had the best day of my life here. I had the best time of my life here. You cannot see me as a church member, for instance. I'm not talking about entitlement here. But you should ensure, are your church members who are going to school, are they well funded? Fees-wise? Are they well funded, pocket money-wise? Or you just want to keep telling the person, God bless you. Meanwhile, even it's wrong. By the way, I heard fun fact, it's not God bless you. It's actually may God bless you. Because it's God's decision to make actually in the end. So when you put up for anybody, say God bless you. Not be God bless you, I will drop. You have how many months for how many semesters? Are you checking with your members? Do you also know about them when maybe they are not feeling fine? Do you send representatives to go and visit them? Or you just let them say, oh, be where you are. When you are well, you're going to come. I've had cases of people being fired from choir, even recently, some of my friends, because, oh, I didn't come to church because I did this one. Or you getting bullied in the choir. Why should that be the case for young kids? So when I look at things like that, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to go to church. But there are a good number of pastors that I respect what they're doing. So shouts to them. Shouts to people like that. I'm not going to mention names so that it's not because of dragging. Nope. It's because why? Everyone has whatever they represent. But shouts to the people that are really doing the work of God. Now, God really know who they serve.
I get a sense that you are an advocate in so many sense. And then I also know that you do advocacy work, and then some of your advocacy work is more focused on accessibility and empowerment. Tell us about that.
Okay, so for me, the first time I knew I wanted to do anything relating to advocating for persons with disabilities would be 2016. Yes, it was 2016 when Chukudi and Unkobi brought me on their show, As They Hot. And so it was World Disability Day or something, or a week after that. And they said, oh, there are a lot of things going on. I've been saying, I need a platform to speak about these things. And so they say, come on our show, come talk about it. And then I went there, and it was from there and I saw that, there are a lot of loopholes here that we need to fix. So I said, you know what, we're not going back on fixing these things. Randomly, I would just stay sometimes and I would call Madam Adeni Kewi and I'd be like, hey, there's something I just noticed here. There's something I just noticed here. What do we do about this? What do we do about that in ensuring that things get better from here? So there is a need for me not to settle for anything that does not look like progress for persons with disabilities. The other day I contested twice to be clerkship of my class.
How did that go?
By the way, I won the election, but the first one was rigged. The second one, they cancelled it because the electoral body voted. Don't worry, I'm not going to mention your name. It was just one vote away. So I got one vote higher than the other person. Do you get? Because why? I have prospect that I know that, okay, if you're putting me in power or having me do something here, it's not a person with disability that is going to run it. I want to also show you what I'm capable of. So that's one thing I've continuously fought for, to say that, okay, we are recognized more. So with every little opportunity I get, I say, you know what, let's do this. Where I have a problem, however, where I have a problem would be with us as a society or as the media. You are maybe having me as your guest to come talk disability. I mean, no disrespect to any media outlet. Nope, never. I mean, because having me on the show means you're putting disability on one way or the other. But you're having me come on the show on one hand. After the show ends, do we push it enough to people to know that, okay, this episode did not just go like that. This so and so did not just go like that. Or we just leave it there and on to the next one. And then again, fun fact, this is the first, podcast in a while that I'm coming on, that I'm actually having fun discussing other topics that are not mainly disability bound per se. Which makes sense. Call me, let me discuss other issues. I mean, I don't deserve dragging. You think I don't want to collect my share inside? Do you understand? So call me for other things that matter too. Let me have a conversation around entertainment, around sports, around my favorite arts, things like that. That's the only issue I have. Let us also push these things. Can you have me at least come in once in 3 months as a media outlet? Not, oh, you wait till December 3rd. Then you will call me maybe a day to that day and say, hey, you know, tomorrow is International Day for. After that day, what happens? Do you call me back again, or you wait till another 1 year? Or you just only do your bid to me privately and then I'm not able to still spread the word publicly? How now?
That actually makes a lot of sense. How do you... So for the longest time, I engaged you on the basis that you were the first start of the profile. When I invited you for the show I produced was First Blind Rapper, and we're trying to spotlight that.
Yes.
And how did that make you feel, that tag? And how has that evolved over the years as being the first blind rapper and that being a tag as against the focus on your talent and your music?
Okay, so that tag actually was intentional.
Okay.
And that was because, I mean, like I've said before, there's MI, Jesse, Ice Prince, Vec, Remy, Bliss, and the likes. I mean, correct guys. Then you just have the Kareens, the Rugged Mans, and
Black Bones.
Black Bones, na marketing genius.
Best rapper in Africa.
Best rapper. You know, AQ, by the way, I started listening to AQ recently, and AQ is dope. Jesus.
Is that the guy? No, AQ is not the guy that was with Rema before.
No. AQ is...
That's Alpha P.
AQ was on the Lamb Project, the Lamb Cypher, the one that had Los Canon, MI, Black Bones. He was on it. And then he recently dropped Purple Does Not Exist or something. And I'm listening to these guys over the years. Okay, except AQ that I said recently, before people would drag me now and say, well, you just said. So I'm listening to things like that. And I'm like, boy, I can do this stuff. And what even prompted that move? I had a show where I performed badly. And so Sheila calls my brother out. Beat Boy, shouts to you, by the way. Calls me out and says, now you tell us some of the things when you talk, Abi. So I felt bad that night. And I thought, you know what? We're going back to the studio. We're going to start making music. I can rap. And that's how my journey began into being the first blind African rapper. The reason I say Africa is because I think Fetty Wap has eye issues now. So let him be doing the other side while I'm holding here now. Did you get? So that was why I started it, because there's a need for our voices to be heard. There's a need to know that I can drop those bars. There's a need for you to know that, okay, there are talents. And if I start it, even if I don't continue it over the years, I want you to know that I paved the way. And then you can hear from other visually impaired rappers, other rappers on wheelchair that really want to do these things, but do not have even a tiny bit of platform or an idea about it. So I didn't feel bad when I was described as that on the very first show. It's not that my issue was that I didn't even get the chance to really talk about the entertainment part of things, if I remember correctly. So we talked more on other issues. Yeah, at the time. I think it was the second time that I made sure I chipped it in. That hola,
I'm a rapper.
I'm a rapper. Not just anyhow rapper. You're rapper's rapper.
I love it. So, you've navigated multiple industries, media. There's media. There's music.
Comedy. There's
you also do comedy. Oh yeah, I mean with dark humor comes dark comedy. Of course, and I can feel it. I've had a great time doing it. So there's media, music, comedy,
broadcasting, all of them. Not even media. Man, go field test too.
There's also education because you're doing, and politics. Because in some sense you're doing all of that. So how do you marry all of that, all of these passions? And how do you think other people, this is like your own podcast episode. How do you think other people can marry their passions and the different passions that they share, just like you've done, to succeed? Because again, you said there are many types of disabilities. If you don't have money, that's a disability. So how do we make money with all these passions? Okay,
so I think the first thing to put in mind is God is actually a sweet soul. He's actually a sweetheart, if it's safe to say so. He would never give you a talent that would not help you match the following one. Yeah. He would never give you something that would not match the other talent you have or something. So if I'm a presenter, right? If I make rap music, I go play my team myself. If nobody will play, that's killing two stones, Abi. If it comes to mentioning anything that concerns disability, I could chip it in on that same show. So you'd look for a way to balance what talent actually goes with what. Someone that sells maybe chinchin or zobo, for instance, you're selling those things, and maybe you say you love talking. You realize that actually you would have not stayed quiet selling your zobo, would you? So you talk, oh, come and buy what I'm selling. Oh. So both talents are working at a go. You make money on your hand for selling it, and then someone says, I like the way you sound, though. I think you should come and do so and so. So you must start by saying which of them goes with which. Which one do I need to pull back on a bit? It took Nas Boy about 15 years to return back to making music properly. But all this while, what was he doing? Photography. Then later on, he was mastering comedy, skit making, marketing. And so now you see his music, he's making skits to push them, right? He's making skits to push them. He's making sure that he gets to the right audience. He's saying the hardest punches because he has been able to see that, okay, this talent is built to follow this one. It took Basket Mouth how many years to come back to making music again? But now Basket Mouth will make his music. He would do his movie. At the same time, he would also tell jokes and marry all of them in one. So the idea is check which of them is the most useful. Which, if they were to give me only 3 left, which would I rather pick? That maybe later on could help return those other ones. Sometimes you don't need to marry them, Desmond. Sometimes what happens is your talents are for different seasons. I'll give you an instance. Let's say you're a great event host for about 10 years. And then nobody's calling you for shows suddenly. Say, oh, okay, they don't blacklist the guy. He don't start to do radio. The same people who did not will say, I want to pay for promotion to come talk about my event on your show. You see that now, that your talent now might run you another 15 years. You say, okay, there's this part of me, I rap. Old man, one day rap. You drop it, it's a hit. People are like, oh, I really want to listen to this guy. I really want to. You drop an album, you're like, and it took him 30 years to finally make it in rap. Oh, it's a lie. There are some talents that are designed for seasons. And so when they come, you grab it. It's not everything that you will necessarily use at a go. You might just pick your top 2, that will pick the top 2, that will pick the top 2. And if you have only one, from that one, you would spread your tentacles to see that, okay, if they say I can present, I'll learn how to present in English, Pidgin. Can I also learn Yoruba, a bit of Igbo, Hausa, and things like that. So that when they say, oh, he has faded in speaking English, no worry, I'll give you pidgin. He has faded it, no worry, small Yoruba day. Before you know, you learn them properly, you return a cab or sorry to eat. You're like, oh my God, stop it. That kind of energy.
Have you considered opening a church?
Have I considered?
Because you're really good. I'm motivated. I'm inspired. I want to go into the world and multiply.
Yes. Stand up and go already.
Find a favor and multiply.
Yes.
You know, you didn't get that joke.
Oh, I don't like you again.
He came.
He finally came. No, don't do that. Stop it. All the favors now.
Yeah.
Anytime. You know, it got to one point that anytime where I hear the name favor, I go they run.
No, I think there's a favor out there for you. All right, so final question would be, what are your personal aspirations? I like that you're chasing every passion, holding on to every passion, but what are your personal aspirations as you go?
Well, I think the first thing would be to own my own podcast.
Welcome to the family.
Yes. Thank you.
Hopefully this one is not inspired by
No.
heartbreaks.
No, this one will be inspired by true love, suspense, family, friends, loved ones, and every other thing you can think of. Grab your copy now. Something like that.
I can hear Lord Frank.
Wow. Wahallard.
I love it. So
my aspiration podcast. And then possibly get back on the radio, this time. I'm hoping. I'm looking at so. I hope
you didn't make money there. I'm joking. I'm joking. I used to be on radio, but not anymore. So I'm just like
that used to part there. We'll come back to it.
I really want to go back, and I'm back doing a podcast.
At the end of the day, something will cast.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
So for me, it's a podcast. Hopefully, getting back on the radio, as well as I want to be that guy that is on a lot of brands for their voiceovers. Yes, now because I want my talents to work for me. Do you get? I want my talents to put the food on the table, not me saying, "Oh, you are good," or you know that one that they do. Desmond, I've been watching you for years. You have talent. You've been watching me. Do something about that.
Invest. Give me the money.
Exactly. Put me on. Don't just be shouting, I've been watching, or when I now blow now. Now say I've known you for, which one is you have known me for years? What did you do about knowing me for years? So I want to be that guy on a lot of brands for their voiceovers. I mean, you can hear the voice already, can't you? Voice acting, owning a podcast, and possibly, apart from presenting, possibly dropping singles. I mean, it's been 8 years since I dropped a single. Don't laugh. So I'm hoping that I can drop one or two and things like that.
It's giving best rapper in Africa.
Exactly. Even more than that.
Make it 10 years.
I should make it 10 years, Abby. All right, so guys, just bring more money for voiceovers, bring gigs for presenting, podcasting, and then
he will drop the music on the 10th year.
Yes.
10th year hiatus.
Yes, now, so we'll now do the first year was music. He took a break, and now we are back. Get your tickets on www.10years.co.uk. Coming soon. Come on! I feel myself.
This is my favorite podcast episode. Love it. Thank you so much, Emperor.
Yeah, say Global Emperor.
The Global Emperor.
Stop it.
Abednego
Norris. I want to give a request to my mommy and my daddy, my brothers and sisters, all the people that I promised to drag in class. I tried not to drag you. Block me so that we can live a peaceful life.
People block you?
Block me.
Why? What did you do? Should we call out Omomi?
We don't even call him out. Omomi, I didn't move so. Unblock me, okay? Unblock me. Should I say if I'm offended? It's a lie. If I say by the way, Desmond, why do people do that thing where they apologize on the 31st night of every year?
It's a new start.
Nah, lie. You dey do am because you dey fear who go die between both of una. Think am now. Because the next year we'll come fight bigger one. We won't come on 31st again. hey, if there's any, and a broadcast message, you can't see forwarded.
Yay. Okay. Thank you very much. We need to end this now.
Yeah.
It's been a really fun conversation. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Hello. I do hope you enjoyed watching the podcast episode with Abednego Noris. It was truly refreshing. I had the swellest of time. But to every favor who struggled through the conversation, I'm sorry. It wasn't intentional. Do better. Favor. But things that you can also, one of the things that you can do better is subscribe if you haven't. Like, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Good News Naija Podcast, and subscribe to listen to our podcast on all podcast platforms, and follow us on social media at the Good News Naija Podcast. My name is Desmond Ekunwe. See you on the next.